On May 31st, Jay-Z took the stage at the Roots Picnic in Philadelphia and delivered a freestyle that turned a lot of heads, with bars largely directed at Drake, Nicki Minaj, and partly Kanye. But before we get into the freestyle itself, do you all remember when he said this?
I don't know if battling needs to be part of the culture anymore. We love the excitement, and I love the sparring and the music you get. But in this day and age, it's so much negative stuff that comes with it, they almost wish it didn't happen.
It's important to understand that Jay-Z doesn't typically involve himself in hip-hop beefs.
And some shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God.
He says, I got MAGA Republicans. Those shots come from the very top of the government. Good luck with that. I'm governed by God. So in other words, it seems pretty clear he's taking a shot at them, and he doesn't rock with that crowd at all. And we know that Jay-Z and Beyonce have always been closely aligned with the left. But the issue with that statement is what Akademiks would later reveal.
Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump made headlines when they were photographed laughing and sitting at the same table with Jay-Z and Beyonce. The unexpected mingling took place on September 13 at Oceans Casino and Resorts in Atlantic City during the Reform Alliance. What the what they doing here? I thought they not into that MAGA. How you with Trump's daughter, but you not into the MAGA? How's they your ops? How you eating dinner with your ops? How Jay came like this with Beyonce. Jared Kushner came with Trump's daughter. Oh yeah. This is how they giving it up. And they got Charlemagne out there and the rest of the media saying that Drake is MAGA. How that work? Holy, they're at dinner with the mother.
According to Akademiks, Jay-Z wasn't being entirely straightforward because there is footage of both Jay-Z and Beyonce socializing with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, people who are very much aligned with MAGA, sitting at the same table and clearly on good terms. For many people, that made his statement land as pure hypocrisy, because to them, it sounded a lot like this.
How you gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you ass gonna be the first one to do it?
That's right. Back in 2017, Snoop Dogg was publicly criticizing anyone who would perform for Donald Trump. Then, in 2024, he turned around and performed for Donald Trump himself, and didn't want to be held accountable for being a walking contradiction. And honestly, that whole situation brought me back to the words of the legendary Malcolm X and how he viewed both political parties.
Friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward the fox, acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chopped in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and...
Malcolm X described liberals, or the Democrats, as a fox. Ultimately, the fox wants to do the same thing to the lamb as the wolf does, just through different methods. The wolf is simply more open and direct about his intentions, and that divide largely represents the difference between Democrats and Republicans today. Here's what I wanted to connect all of this to, and what I believe the black community as a whole can take away from it. Everyone bows to power, and if you don't understand how power works, or you have no real ability to enforce anything, then your needs simply won't be prioritized. If we take a close look at this Jay-Z freestyle, he is clearly speaking against MAGA, and the crowd in Philadelphia was fully locked in, eating every bar up. To them, this was the real thing. This was authentic. But behind closed doors, everybody adjusts to wherever the power sits, which right now is on the right. Look at Nicki Minaj. Look at Snoop. People move according to where the opportunities are. especially when finances shift or circumstances change. People respect leverage. Now, as Black people, we often don't fully grasp leverage in terms of money and influence, and that's honestly where we lose, because the leverage is absolutely there. I'll be transparent. When I came onto Black YouTube back in 2015, I was genuinely shocked by how many Black people I encountered online who had incredible amounts of money and skill. I understood it existed, but it's hard to fully appreciate until you're out here meeting brothers from all over the country. I've been in this space for over a decade and haven't needed a traditional job because my own community has been able to support what I do. The reason I'm connecting all of this is simple. Black people possess every financial tool that anyone else has. Black people could control rappers, Black people could control politicians, Black people could dictate outcomes across the board. But the default mindset is often, what are you going to do for me? What are you offering for my vote? Meanwhile, politicians and business figures on both sides have something tangible to offer someone like Jay-Z, and that's where the leverage lies. If they need his services, they can simply come and purchase them, because at that level, everything has a price. A lot of people in the Black community want loyalty from rap artists and politicians purely because of shared identity, rather than building a clear agenda and pushing it forward with real pressure. Because according to Malcolm X, both parties ultimately operate from a similar foundation. It's just that one is more transparent about it than the other. Donald Trump doesn't lose any sleep over Jay-Z dissing MAGA in a freestyle, because when a deal needs to close, Jay-Z will show up wherever the money is. And once we collectively understand that this is how the game operates, we will start to see much better outcomes, because a lot of these figures are operating as hypocrites anyway. They're in it for the money, they'll say whatever the moment calls for, and they move on. They believe Black people won't hold them accountable, and largely that's because Black people don't contribute heavily to political campaigns. The people who do write those checks are the ones seeing real results. I could spend all my time calling Jay-Z a hypocrite the way academics do, but that's just how business and politics function. We have to stop operating from emotion and start playing the game strategically. I know many people say we are owed reparations and long overdue justice in this country, and that's absolutely true. But if we want real movement on anything, we have to be willing to come to the table with resources. We have to mobilize the full weight of our $1 to $2 trillion economy, all of our leverage, all of our talent, and force both parties to recognize what's at stake. Make them understand the kind of money and influence we can bring, and make clear that if one side doesn't want it, the other side will gladly take it. What the Jewish community does in this space is genuinely worth studying. They split contributions down the middle, funding Democrats and Republicans alike, and as a result, their agenda gets addressed regardless of who holds power. People ask why their priorities always seem to get handled. The answer is straightforward, because they're paying. Whoever's putting money into the system is going to see their agenda reflected in the results. Anyone can stand up and say whatever they want publicly, but in politics, everyone follows the money. And I know I've been saying this until I'm blue in the face, but once we truly internalize that as Black people, we will start to see real progress.